Good evening. What's going on, everybody? I hope that you are doing well. It's Tuesday night. It's 8 o'clock on the East Coast. It's 7 o'clock here in Minnesota. Minnesota's going through like early spring, and it's like fighting itself. It was 63 degrees in February in Minnesota yesterday, and tonight it's getting down to 5 degrees, and it's snowing and nasty out there, windy. Had to turn on the supplemental heat for the rodents again. I got the heat on back there, extra heat for the reptiles. We're close though, man. March is really close. Spring is coming. I hope you guys are doing good. Thanks for tuning in tonight. We got Joe and Ash from Fear to Fascination, and they also have another page called Sin City Feeder Breeder, which is a fantastic name for a rodent operation, I think. Sin City Feeder Breeder. They're out of Las Vegas, Nevada. And I'm going to learn. We've met briefly at Tinley before, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm not real familiar with them, other than I can just tell you how authentic and genuine they were when I met them. And I was like, man, I got to hang out with these two. Like, it's cool. You'll see what I'm saying. But I'm not sure how long they've been around, but we'll learn. I know they're hitting the ground running, and they've been around. They've been on a couple of the other podcasts. Their media content is fantastic. So stick around tonight. We're definitely going to look into the future of what the industry looks like. And frankly, I'm just excited to hang out a little bit tonight too. So thank you all for being here. A couple of y'all were early tonight. I appreciate it. I know there was some other live going on with Antoine. I don't know if that wrapped up yet or not. I think it did. I think I saw the chatter in Patreon say that it was done. But we'll get to some announcements. I vended Scaled Up Exotics show in Rothschild, Wisconsin. That's in that's a outskirts of a town called Wausau, and it's only, I mean, it's just a regional local show. But of all people, Garrick DeMeyer vends that show, and that's the second time I've vended that. So a couple things. Garrick was there, which is cool. But the other thing is, probably more importantly, is the promoters are great, man. They get people through the door. I know it doesn't really make sense or really matter how cold, like in my mind, I'm thinking Wisconsin and Minnesota are freezing cold. How are there so many people into reptiles here? Clearly we're not living in igloos. Like we can care for the reptiles in our homes in the state here. But anyway, I'm still blown away at how active the local and regional community is here with reptiles. So it was a solid show. Certainly worth going back. It's my longest. It's not my longest day. Des Moines is actually a little bit longer, but it's my longest commute. It's 3.5 hours there, vend all day, 3.5 hours home, 1 day show. But like I say, it was good enough to return. So nice job to, if you get to go see, I think I said Scaled Up Exotics, Scaled Up Expos. If you get a chance to go to a Scaled Up Expos show, very good shows. And the Rothschild one, like I say, Garrick vends that show. So it was cool to see him and say hello. Very kind to me. We hung out for a little bit before the show and after a little bit as well. Doug Knacker was there. Hissy Fit Reptiles. Always good to see Doug, who's also a very, very good dude. This weekend, I'll be vending the Hastings show, and I forget. Look, I don't forget it. It's Ed and Emily from Snake Discovery. So it's Snake Discovery's local pet show. But they have one called like Exotic Pet Fairs, and they have another one called like Wings and Feathers and Scales and Tails or something like that. And I'm not sure which one this is. It's in Hastings. It's on Sunday. It's a Snake Discovery show. If you're watching locally, you know what I'm talking about. Come hang out. They're cool shows. They're kind of pet shows, but I do well at them. And it's not like I need to take the pet stuff to Tinley in 2 weeks. And it's not like the Tinley stuff is going to sell at the pet show. So it's really kind of a nice balance. And again, very, very active. So I'll be there on Sunday. That'll be my third show in 3 weeks. I get a weekend off, and then I go to Tinley, and then the following weekend I'll be in Green Bay at the Scaled Up Expos show as well. So I hope to see you after Green Bay. I take a little breather and I chill for a minute, man. It's been a little bit of a haul. I think it's 5 shows in 6 weeks that I will have done. So I've been going. Shirts are in. I promised that they were on order. They have arrived. Let's see. And I'm a little bit of a t-shirt snob, so I'm really proud of these shirts. The first off, there's men's and ladies cuts. Of course, you can order whichever one you want. You want to wear a ladies shirt, wear a ladies shirt, wear a men's shirt, wear a men's shirt, whatever works for you. But I do have men's and ladies cuts. The men's shirts are the next level, and they're nice and they're broken in, and they kind of fit. Really, I think they fit really, really nicely and very comfortably. The ladies are Bella Canva, and also they have that like heather worn in vintage material. They're a little more gray. The men's are straight black. So I have those ladies sizes from small to XL and men's small to 2XL. $25 shipped. I'll take care of shipping and get them out to you. $25 if you're interested. Let me know. I will have them with me at Tinley, as well as I had to practice this to get it to focus on the patch, not my eyes. There you go. We got the patches. Pretty sweet little swag. I've been having fun with figuring out where to put them. My son wears it on like his backpack. I've been putting it on the snake bags, the little strings. You can stick it right between the Velcro. So even if you don't get one of the sling bags, come by the booth, grab a patch. They'll be free if you buy anything. If you just want a patch, just give me like $2 or something for it, just to cover the cost of getting them going. So that's what's on the horizon. Sometime tonight, if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, I'm at 2,999 subscribers. I don't know why, like, nice round numbers are cool milestones, but 3,000 subscribers on YouTube, that's a pretty big thing for me. And I haven't worked as much at it as I should have been doing lately, but still 3,000 is a massive number, especially for a really, really focused audience that is truly ball python breeding business content and our community. So thank you to everybody that has subscribed. There's 2,999 of you all looking for that 3,000th one tonight. Hope we hit it. I don't know, like I said, I don't know why it's better than 3,001 or 2,999, but it just sounds kind of neat. You know what I'm saying? So thanks to all the support. August will be 3 years that I've been doing this show, and November will be four years that I've been doing YouTube. So it's been a cool journey and a really, really cool community. So I'm very, very thankful for that number. I guess that's why it's important, is because I'm thankful for it. Let me know how Tampa Repticon went. If you vended at it, a lot of my friends are still down in Tampa. I know Sundog Serpents vended. They said they did really well. It was their first show. I was really happy to hear that for them. I talked to, I guess I shouldn't say exactly the vendors. I know Sarah and Josh probably don't care, but talked to another vendor. He told me Saturday was excellent. Said it was the best he'd seen in quite a while. So let me know how it went. I feel like things are loosening up in the marketplace and in the industry a little bit. Maybe it's just a tax bump. Who cares what it is? Any loosening and flow of money is good for all of us. So I hope that if you did vend, you had a good run at it. Let me know what's going on. You can leave it in the comments. Fear to Fascination. That's Joe and Ash. I met them at Tinley in October. And it's really weird to tell a story about somebody when you know that they're listening and you're talking about them in the third person, but they're in the green room listening right now. But maybe I'll even tell the story when they're on, because it was really cool. Look, they came in dressed to the nines. Ash looking like $1 million. Joe's got his glasses on inside, and I was like, man, who are these two? And then you meet them, and everything is so genuine, honest, enthusiastic, welcoming, all of those things together. And so we chat from time to time since Tinley, and it occurred to me, I mean, Tinley's coming up in another 2 weeks, and I'm always working on booking. It just is endless. The Tuesdays are endless, right? So I was like, man, I got to get them on. And so I did a little digging, a little show prep, got to learn a little bit more, and I'm excited to hang out tonight. But like I say, the genuine care, enthusiasm, kindness, authenticity, all were things that just really, really spoke to me. And I was like, man, I got to get these two wonderful people on the show. So the other thing that I really, really admire about people is keeping commitments, and making sure that the show goes on. So they're in the green room driving. I envision driving down the Sunset Strip, not Sunset, the Vegas Strip, but we probably have to pretend that. They had deliveries to make. They had to get out and about. They had to, that's the truth of running a business and how life goes. And they said, we're ready. The connection's good. We're in. So we're going to do this show, and we're going to get it done and have a good time and hang out. So I'm really thankful for it. Please, for the very, very first time, welcome Joe and Ash from Fear to Fascination from Las Vegas, Nevada. What's going on?
Hey.
What's going on, Proper Royals family?
Do not get in an accident. I do not want that. That cannot be the content. Like
we're good.
There's better ways to get clicks.
Almost got literally 20 minutes ago. We're driving by, and the state trooper has a new Mustang, and I go, "Oh, that'd be great." We're on the side of the road. You bring us in, and we're like, "Sorry."
Don't click off if it happens, man. I want
we're excited to be here, Adam. Yes, thank you so much for having us.
It is my pleasure. I'm glad we got it. Yeah. I'm glad we got it together, man. I remember vividly meeting y'all, and I even remember having a moment like, man, that was really cool, and I was really happy to meet y'all. And I was like, man, and it's no accident. You guys stand out when you come into the room. You got the charisma and the style. And then I was like, I wonder what they think of me. I'm standing here in a chef coat trying to sling snakes at Tinley. And I was like, that's what makes the reptile industry so great. Like, you just look around and you're like, there's no problem anywhere. And it's the most diverse group of people around. I've said it many times, but it was like the cool feeling I felt at my very first punk rock show when I was like 16 or 17. I was like, I can be me here. That's all I give a damn about. And I want everybody else to be themselves. So that really is what I was trying to convey when I was trying to tell that story. But glad to have you. Welcome. How's Vegas?
Going great, man. Really and I love it because, keeping snakes and breeding is definitely punk rock as it gets, for sure. So it goes like, line,
Yeah, it feels a little bit dangerous, and it's a little bit people are like, I don't know, but it's kind of interesting, it's like when people find out you're a musician, they're like, oh, what's that like? Yeah, this is a new snake thing, a version of it,
Yeah, and I love that, to start there is when we got into the hobby, that was one of the things that blew my mind. Of course, when you come across Justin, he is not what you would expect when you're thinking, reptile breeder.
True.
And then you get Ozzy and so many other characters in the community. Man, have we evolved over the past, just in the short time that we've been in 5-6 years now. We've watched it come so far, but I'm a history buff, so as soon as I get into something, I'm into the music, so I dive down the rabbit hole of the historians behind the culture, and so I went right into studying into genetics and the history, and obviously all the Brian Barczyk I could consume, and all of the just everything from way back, the nerd videos, and I'm a fan of the culture,
Yeah, I get it. I came at it as kind of a release. I mean, restaurants and music industry in the middle of COVID were just absolutely brutal and heartbreaking. I mean, it's what I built my life around, was those two things, and they were both just taken away. And people changed. I don't know better. I was looking at some old emails today of some reports from the restaurant business at the end of the night, and I was like, man, it actually was just a brutal time. And Reptiles provided a break for me. And then, YouTube came around. But the culture was what, it probably would have just stayed a hobby, to be honest with you. I probably would have gone back to work. Obviously, COVID has gone on. Music has started up again. Restaurants are full again. Life is happening. I got hooked on the community, man. I mean, the money part of it is fun. And I don't mean I'm not filthy rich or anything, but I can make a business out of it. That's fun. But the community is where it's at, man. Doing this show almost 3 years I've been doing this show every Tuesday night just to get to hang out and learn and meet people,
I can't believe how long you've been doing it.
I know.
We love your content and gotta say seriously that I appreciate your contribution to the community in general, because we need that good, positive, uplifting, and you need a place and a platform for people that are up and coming to be able to learn, to be able to come and expose themselves. We're new to this still, in our opinion, only being in it 5 years. And we've done a lot, and we went pedal to the metal right away when we got in. But at the same point, you know, there's a lot of other big dogs out there that get their shine. So these shows are excellent, man, and we love it. I wish I'd have known about it longer.
Well, thank you. It's really kind, and it really like I forget, because like you say, like I've been at it 4 years. You guys been at it even longer than me. And I started this as a vehicle to learn and a vehicle to get my brand out there, but it's led to so many relationships and so many people that you do meet. But I forget too, like when I say community, I mean it. Like there's, we'll have 50, 60 people here before the end of the night, just hanging out on a Tuesday night, talking snakes. And anyway, I'm blown away by it. I'm super thankful for it. And I appreciate it. And it, like I say, it just started as a way to like learn and to meet people and like to interact with people. Cause I turned into a hermit, man. I'm like, the restaurants were gone. The gigs were gone. I was like, man, I gotta do something, man. I need people in my life,
No, this is awesome. Yeah. Community is everything. And you've built a community around your brand, around your passion. And that's something that we are still working to do more of. We're stepping our game up when it comes to the content. We love doing the shows, but we'd like to do more. I can't believe the amount of shows you're rocking. That's awesome. We've actually got a show this weekend here in Las Vegas.
I saw that.
Yeah. We've traveled out and done a show in Utah. That was successful. Yeah. And we want to start doing some shows in California and Arizona. It's just my life is, our life is crazy busy, and now we've expanded. We'll talk later with the rodent breeding business. So
right,
went from just us being able to supply enough for our animals to now being able to supply so many of our snake customers here in Las Vegas. We love it when our snakes can stay here, but just as much as I pretty much love being able to send a snake to a new state every time. So we just sent one to Kentucky, and I'm like, how cool, man. It's just like they're going all over the place.
It is neat to think about. Like I do think about that. There's a lot over time, like everything snowballs. Like there's a lot of everybody's animals everywhere, but it is neat to think about. And I think a lot too about just, it's easy to complain about life. Like what an amazing time we live in. I'm hanging out with two people in Vegas. I'm in Minnesota on a cell phone connection in your car. And you just sent a snake that in 11 hours is going to be with its new owner in Kentucky across the country. Like all those things together blow my mind, and it's a wonderful opportunity, amazing time to be alive. Like our grandparents couldn't imagine this, Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool, man.
So tell me about where you guys are at. Is your focus on business? Is it on hobby? Where on that spectrum are you? And what else? What other? I mean, at the end of the day, we all got to keep the lights on. You all got to put gas in the car. Clearly, the car's driving. So, I mean, something's working. So, what does that look like in your life right now?
Yeah. So, I'll try to be as brief with the kind of intro into where we're at with all that. So, Fear to Fascination, it started as me getting over my fear of snakes. I figure you fear what you don't know. And right after taking care of my fear of heights, I dove right into the snake. And so I went to the pet shops trying to touch a snake, see if I could even get over that. And I mean, I was really ridiculously afraid of them, which is a whole nother story. One day, maybe we'll get into it, where that came from. But because as a kid, I used to play with them in the desert and stuff. So the fear came on later in life. But whatever. Like I said, I'm going to condense this one.
All right.
And so basically, once I conquered my fear, I found out, oh man, there's this banana ball python. It's amazing. First, I got the corn snake, right? And I'm like, he's cool, but I want a bigger one. And then I look and I find the banana, and I'm like, this is amazing. We go to our first reptile show, which is the show we've in now. It's amazing. And I get the banana, and at the show, I'm like, I think I want to get an albino.
Yeah.
And so I get the albino and the banana, which, is a lot of people's entry pet animal, which is always a focus for us still, as much as we like to do really cool stuff and, try to get cutting edge things. We always keep some bananas and some albinos in the mix because that attracted us from the beginning. So once I got those two snakes, jumping right to it is pretty much me seeing the Mojave to Mojave turning into a blue-eyed leucistic. And I go,
I was going to ask if you got a Lucy third.
No way that this is real. So we did get the Lucy. That's
we
right.
got the Lucy.
But then I went and I got a Mojave and a Mojave, and did the classic Mojave to Mojave, made our blue-eyed leucistics, which, man, we may have actually I can't believe that I've never told this part of the story and realized that's where the funky came from. So we have a gene that's popped up in our collection that we almost sold. And I asked Justin, I asked a couple big breeders about it. And I'm like, I was about to sell this for a couple $100. What do you think this is? They're like, do not sell that. That does not look normal. I don't know what's going on there. And Ozzy had told us, these things are mutating in your collection, literally. That's a lot of these
Yeah, they
mutations
can,
come
right?
from. So the snake came out with basically like a frog face on it, or like heart's eyes, like little hearts on it, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks amazing. It's a really funky pattern. It's definitely got pastel, possibly Mojave in it. We've got some pictures on our page if anybody want to go to our Instagram and scroll through and see it. But basically that came out of that, and once that happened, I was head over heels. I'm diving into the books, learning about the genetics, and then I wanted every single seasoning in the cabinet, you know what I mean? So that I could really get to cooking. And it went from 20 to a month later 40-50, a month later 70-80. The racks started coming in, the Freedom Breeder rack came in, and we just went hard. And we've had to also dial back like so many others, because you get too into it and you got to realize what you really want, where your focus really needs to be,
what projects you want to
And we love tri-stripe is my big thing. I tried to pick something that not everyone was doing, but I saw some serious potential in. We obviously work clown, pied, you name it. There's quite a few recessives that we're working, Xanthic, G-stripe clowns. But really the tri-stripe is my baby, and
nice.
I just love it.
Where do you want to take that? Where do you see it going for you? What excites you on that?
As much as the craze is behind the double, triple recessives, I really want to see more codoms in the mix with just tri-stripe. I put Inchy just alone in it, and it is absolutely mind-blowing. You just don't see them. It's the only one that's available on Morph Market is our Inchy tri-stripe that I saw, unless a new one's popped up. And it's just a stunning animal. So I've got GHI, which Zach Schrader's already put in the mix and has been amazing. I think, did you get to see that at Tinley when we were at that Tinley with you?
I didn't. The worst part of Tinley for me is that I've been by myself. So leaving the table and, but no, I know, Marshall at NOCO, I know that he's got a ton of cool tri-stripe and has been working it for a long time. I saw some of his stuff, but I did not see any of Zach's though.
Yeah. So to finish what, explaining, you finish your question is, I'm just the type of person that's always, if I'm into something, I go head over heels, and then I can, I always want to turn it into a business. And so with my music's all about uplifting people and putting a positive message out there for folks, and just wanting to contribute something positive to the world. The music has changed my life and kept me alive through my hardest times. So I try to, do that for others. And so when I got into the snakes and realized how amazing they were, and the misconception that people didn't realize how, these snakes are not what they think they are, I said, oh man, I got to tell the world about it. So I started Beard Fascination. And for us, we love the shows. We love the community. The money is really cool as well, especially when we first got into it, how it was, which was before even the COVID rush. Just doing shows, the hobby was awesome, and it still is awesome. But nonetheless, those shows for me, I remember our first show we did, we sold out of everything on day one. We came back home.
Gosh.
We came back home. We brought a whole new bunch of snakes that were holdbacks, and I said, well, I'll charge a higher price, and if people buy them, they buy them. Sold out again. So but for me, it was all about the kids and the people, the adults, really. You think you're trying to help the kids conquer their fear, but it's their parents.
Right.
And the look
the kids are fearless.
Face, to see somebody go from, I'm not even coming close to the booth, to I'll touch it. We're really calm about getting them to just one step at a time. And the next thing you know, they're taking pictures and it's around their neck. And that's it for me. I love it. And the smile on the kids' faces, it's too cool.
Yeah, man, your experience with your first show couldn't be farther from my first experience. I worked so hard all day, was so amped for it, man. I bought my ARS displays. I had my banner. I had my lights. I probably spent $1,500 getting, your initial investment to get ready for a show. I sold one Inchy for $46 that day.
Oh, no.
And I was like, that's terrible. And my buddy Jeremy Bod, he's been a really great help to me. Jeremy's and he checked in on me. He's like, man, how was it, man? He's like, my first show, I sold like $600. I felt on top of the world. I was like, yeah, it was kind of okay. I got $46. I was like, what happened? But yeah, I tell everybody though, like, well, first, I think the secret is signing up for more than one show, because you have a good show or a bad show. You can't base your future on that. So go get a bigger sample size. But the other thing too is that the shows just don't happen in a vacuum. You get follow-up phone calls. People recognize you to the next time. You know, they didn't have the money that day and then they forgot what your name was, but then they see you at the net. Oh man, there they are. I wonder if they still have that animal, you know? So, and then you get I don't know about you. I thought I had like some comfortability from my restaurant days and then my stage days of music. I'm like, all right, I'm going to be ready. I was terrified. I was out of my element, man. I had no idea what to say to people. I had no idea how to interact with the people at the shows. So it took a little while to get the chops up and get my routine and rhythm. But yeah, my first show was I did not sell out of anything. My first show.
Hey, and that's the beauty though. And for anybody watching, look where you're at now, you know, and to continue through that, that's anything that you do in life is you've got to take, persistence. You know, you've got to take the hits over the head, because not every show's been great for us either. And like I say, they were much better in the beginning when we first started. And so many people got into the hobby. You know, we were just before the big rush of people getting into it. Obviously I was trying to conquer my fear. So I wasn't getting, there was a little bit of media spilling out into, you know, other people's algorithms. You might see a Jay Prehistoric video here and there. But I came across some of those Brian Barczyk videos with him talking about, you know, rest in peace, Brian. Coming across, you know, some of those videos about breeding, and it really just piqued my interest. And I never thought at that time that I would breed, but I was like, I'm gonna watch this crazy guy pull these snakes out of these eggs, and just like it looked crazy, you know.
Oh, it was infectious. I remember telling my wife, and that's another way of how YouTube started. She was like, "You're gonna breed these, huh?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "And then what are you gonna do with them?" I was like, "I'm gonna sell them." She's like, "To who?" And I was like,
"Oh, that is so funny."
I was like, "People, I don't know." And I remember being like,
"Other weirdos."
I was like, if I don't have a better answer for how I'm gonna sell these things, I'm gonna run into a little trouble on the home front. I was like, I'm gonna start a YouTube video. That's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna learn. I need to learn social media for work. I need it in life. It's the way of the future. And anyhow, the rest is history. And
Adam, you're the man, dude. That's why we vibe for sure, because it's like, you know, there's no excuses. You know, I had to, honestly, I was consuming all the content I could. You know, I'm watching every, trap talk and anything that's going on. But there came a point where everybody's, and I don't mean everybody, and I saw a lot of videos that were people complaining about, you know, the market. And a lot of people who maybe got in during COVID and things were really great. And now, which sucks that they've invested so much, but I'm there with them too. We invested in a lot of projects that didn't pan out, and it just is what it is, you know? But I was getting a little depressed watching some of the people's content. And I just thought, man, when times get tough, you know, you got to get tougher. And so we just started making more content and going to the pet shops and networking. So go to your local pet shops, network with your pet shops. Even if you're not selling, you don't want to sell wholesale, hang out, you know, build relationships. If people come in and are looking for some nice high-end snakes they don't have,
they'll recommend.
Yeah. So, you know, we've built we love all of our local pet shops, you know, everybody's kind of, some different communities have their little tiffs between people, and we don't like to take that road. I don't want to partake in, you know, the negative gossip and things, and I don't want to talk about, oh, things are bad in the hobby. We just gotta get to work, you know, you got to work harder.
I agree with you completely, and I agree. I think you didn't say it, but I think you're hinting at it. People can choose the drama and the headaches they get into. You don't have to get into it. You could turn off a YouTube video. You can not worry about what's going on in California or Florida or wherever, or you can. And some of it you should. I mean, laws in Florida, of course, we want to pay attention to. But I get that it's fun, and I get that it's click-worthy and it's entertaining. But at the end of the day, you don't have to get into that stuff. And that's what people forget too. And I think, and I have the good fortune and scenario, and I feel like I've earned it. So maybe it's not fortune, but whatever we want to call it, I have the scenario where I have the time to market for 2 or 3 hours a day. Or like you say, I have the time to go build relationships or get to work and go, all right, this isn't working right now. What haven't I tried? At least I could try something else and experiment until something works. And I realize not everybody could do that. Some people have to go to jobs every day. Some people have a different set of resources, or they're at a different stage in their life where they're building something versus I just turned 44 this week. So, I mean, we all got different things going on, but you're exactly right. You could do the work, or you can find a new way to do it. You can, I don't know, what's the expression? There's something like, if something's important enough, you'll make time or you'll find the time. It's a matter of prioritizing things rather than now. And again, there are some people that have kids and family burdens and medical burdens and financial burdens. So I'm not saying everybody can just go out and be amazingly successful because they want it. But most can. And even those people that can't, I'll tell you, usually they're the ones that have figured out how to do it when the rest of us are still complaining, right? So anyhow, I'm with you on that stuff. So what are like, when you all, so this is a little bit longer than I thought that you all had been at it, which is really cool to hear. Cause now I'm like, all right, I'm going to take some of this in myself here, like get my pencil out and ready. So from where do most of what's the breakdown of your sales? And I don't mean like specific dollar amounts, but like how much is on, say, Morph Market, how much is local, how much is shows? And then are there other outlets that like, you know, maybe you're doing it on Patreon? I don't know. Where do your sales break down? Where do they come from usually?
Lately, the majority of the sales have been Morph Market. We get some from Instagram. People will see some of our posts on there. We'll run sales, like daily sales. I just like to toss deals out there, especially when we have as many hatchlings as we have right now.
Right.
And so I've also been doing more work on TikTok, trying to get that going. We don't have 1,000 followers on there yet, so we can't go live. So if you guys have a TikTok, please go follow Fear the Fascination.
Oh, nice.
And but Morph Market has been great. That's for sure. I'm contemplating going up to the next level because I have, I'm at my max inventory basically that I can have at that. I think it's
what is that? What's that number at that tier? Is it like 200 or 250?
It's 150 snakes and $40,000, I think, something like that. I see.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so they ran a deal. I don't know if you remember that, where they were letting you put as many snakes up as you wanted, and we put a ton over. We got up to like 50,000 on there, I think, and they never kicked them off. So we're way over, and I've got all these really beautiful, nice high-end snakes right now that I want to put up, and I can't get on Morph Market.
Oh God, they didn't kick you off, but you're still capped out. Like they grandfathered you, but you can't have more.
Yes, exactly.
Got it.
So, even when we sell one, we don't have, there's no growth, no room to basically
no space. No.
So so I'm contemplating stepping that up, but really it's more shows. We didn't do as many shows as we should have. We missed a few in California that, with my music and everything just going, her with her work, she works for Tesla, and
nice.
Has a great schedule, but also has her own independent business that she's doing. So our life is really busy, but very dedicated to getting back to the shows, very dedicated to the content, and just taking Fear the Fascination to the next level all the way around, including packaging. Like there's a lot of things that I want to do to just escalate, what we're doing. I feel our customer service is at the maximum level it can be. We're always there for our customers. We get great reviews, but the packaging can be improved upon, and just nicer thank you letters and stuff like that.
There's nothing better than still just a handwritten note, man. People have like stickers on their refrigerators. I have every thank you note I've ever gotten is covered on my fridge, man. I love it here. The freezer right here. And I still, in my packages, I put a little patch in there now, but I still just handwrite a thank you note. It's just on the back of an index card, no marketing, just Adam Sharpie writing a thank you note. But I remember that from my restaurant days. I would just write a little heartfelt thank you in there for my customers. So I love that stuff. TikTok, at the risk of being the old dude in the room, I have never, ever I haven't, there is a Proper Royals TikTok, and I don't think I've posted on it in a year or so now. I could never get any traction on there. Instagram do pretty well. It took me a while to figure out Instagram, but I do all right on Instagram. Facebook is what it is. Although I sell a lot locally on Facebook, which is pretty incredible too. I don't screw with Craigslist, but Facebook advertising really is far reaching for the value. I find it very, very valuable. But what do you see on TikTok? Are you seeing any of that translate to sales and engagement? And are you hearing that in the community anywhere? Because I don't know a whole lot of people doing a whole lot on TikTok.
Not sales, but are you refurbishing your Instagram content for TikTok? Is that all that you're posting over there?
Well, no, I'm not posting anything lately. I tell you why there's nothing going. No, but I was working on it.
When you were.
When I was, it was a little bit different content. So I know what you're talking. So sometimes, I would just download it, repost it. And I know it doesn't like that. It knows when you do that. It wants you to engage. So I would try different things live off the cuff, and it just never quite fit. And then, YouTube Shorts has a little bit different editing than Instagram has, and TikTok has a little different editing than those do. It just felt like a thorn in my side, but I didn't mean to cut you off. Tell me about your experience on it, though.
So the lives in the snake rooms do really great. Lives in the snake rooms, people aren't used to seeing something like that. I did a live from the rat room and had over 1,000 people on there, and I only have like 7,000 people following my music page on there, which is the only thing I can go live from right now.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like basically telling people, go over to my reptile page, building our following over there. But people like to see crazy stuff they've never seen. So I'm holding up like a little bitty rat in front of them and pulling a few out at a time, and they're like, what in the heck is going on?
Right.
And then showing off hatchlings in a white box. So we've got a nice little light box,
Yeah.
And I'm just putting my hand there, and they're getting to see the snakes, each one that I'm pulling out, and I'm talking about the genetics, and people were chiming in. How much is that? How much is this snake? But I'm not, I'm still a little bit newer with the TikTok with Reptiles, so I don't know how they treat that. There's a lot of bans. Like if I was driving in the car on a live, it'll ban the video and ban me from doing it for a little while. So they have all kinds of stipulations. It's different.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to the posting, what I'd recommend is doing content through the app. Actually, like you hold the button down for a minute, show a couple reptiles, stop, hold the button down for a minute, talk to the camera a little bit. When you put that kind of content into it, it does really great.
I see.
When you refurbish a really good video, it's hit or miss. It's all about hashtags. You want to use some that are bigger, that have larger followings, and you want to use ones that have smaller. You want to mix in, a mixture of both. But again, that's even hit or miss. It's not like a guarantee. You just got to put out a lot of content. I would do 3 to 5 posts a day.
I was going to say, at the end of the day, that's what I found on all the platforms. Just do the content, and it's going to tell you what works and what doesn't. And that's what I tell people about YouTube. Like, just start. Just have your cell phone. Don't worry about a boom stand and a mic, and just get out there and do it, because you're going to find what works when you do the reps. But I guess I just haven't done the reps on TikTok, and I need to. And I know it's untapped. Like I know the demographic that uses TikTok. I know they're the ones that are going to have spare luxury money if they don't already. And what are ball pythons? Spare money luxury items. I mean, unless I want to sell $46 inchies the rest of my life, and, you know what I mean? We need luxury items to make all of this worthwhile. So, well, there's a little speech for myself, and I'll go back and listen to.
I want to talk a little more about TikTok, but we're home now, so we can get set up in front of the critters and stuff. Do you want to pause for a second?
Why don't you do that? You know what, though? Would you mind staying? Yeah, but the problem is, if you sign off, my picture is going to cover all the logos. So you guys can just do what you got to do on the phone. We'll hit the sponsors, and I'll be right back with Fear to Fascination, everybody. That's
awesome.
Let's
do it. Cheers. See y'all in just a second. Guys, don't turn away. These are the people that make the show possible. They literally make it so that I can focus on doing this show. I just passed 30 months doing this. I'm coming up on 3 years of doing this show on every Tuesday night. So I'm incredibly thankful to these sponsors. So check them out for me. Shedtesting.com. That is Charlie at Gray Rider Reptiles. Shedtesting.com. He is a great option for your shed testing needs. To clarify, Charlie is creating his own shed tests. He is doing the research and development. He is partnered with local genetics labs. He can get tests and create tests for any genes that he gets enough sheds for. So you'll start to see puzzle tests, monsoon tests. He just came out with the Trick Hurricane Blitz tests. So go check out the new website as well. That's shedtesting.com. Use the promo code proper15 and you're going to get 15% off of 2 orders, not just 2 tests, 2 orders. There's no small fine print. I don't even know what the cap would be. Go check it out. If you've been waiting, now's a great time to go give Charlie a shot. Also, REDLINE shipping. Look, it's the closest thing you're going to get to a concierge service in this industry. You can call them anytime if you have questions about shipping. I shipped animals yesterday. It was 63 in the daytime here in Minnesota. Obviously, the temperatures would drop in the evening. They walked me through and asked about what animals I'm shipping. We looked at what hub it would go through and where the animals would get to. We opted for no heat to go into that package. And I didn't tell them, hey, I'm Adam that advertises for you, blah, blah, blah. I don't tell them any of that. I just call and ask for help, and they're amazing with it. Great prices, great experience, great internet interface for you as a customer. Excuse me. Check them out. Proper 5. You're going to get $5 off your next shipping label if you do. Brandon Nixon, a breeder that I very, very much respect. He's been a good friend, a good mentor to me. He loves the orange genes. You can see it in his logo there. That's Brandon Nixon Reptiles. He's working Sunset, Ultramel, Monarch, and Hypo. That is Nixon Reptiles. Check out his Instagram for amazing, just high quality, well dialed in content as far as film quality and true cinematography. Like most of us are just like filming. Like Brandon is like cinematographer on his Instagram. Check it out. Portuguese pythons. That's Danny and Renee Rocha. They are out in Chino, California. I know for sure they just had a clutch of super blackhead Ultramel. Go check that out if you're looking for any of those projects. I can tell you myself, I've got a 1.3 in the Ultramel Pied project from them with blackhead, trick, Mojave thrown in the mix as well. They've got killer stuff, double recessives, triple recessives, and great, great people to boot. I'm really proud to be working with them, and they've been great to work with beautiful animals. So that is Portuguese pythons. Ball Labs, that's Trevor in Aurora, Colorado. Trevor's working with the Puzzle, Ultramel, Clown, VPI, Axanthic, and Tri-Stripe recessive genes, of course, with lots of codoms thrown in. What he felt bad initially when he contacted me, he says, yeah, I'm working with Monsoon, Zebra, and Sunset. And I was like, well, that'll get people's attention. And he's like, maybe we should talk about the other genes. I don't want them to think that there's something that they can't get from me or that they can't afford. So Trevor's got something for everybody. He also just started Rodent Labs. If you're local there in Colorado, he is licensed. He's done the right things by the state laws to be selling those rodents as well. So Rodent Labs and Ball Labs with Trevor in Aurora, Colorado. Last but not least is Chris at B and S Reptilia. Chris focuses on all sorts of different species. I know he tries to collect at least one new species to breed per year. That's why it's in the name, Reptilia. So yes, lots of ball pythons, but blood pythons, boa constrictors, locality constrictors, colubrids, pituophis. I learned that word last time at Tinley when I was vending with him. Chris is also my Tinley breeding partner. He won't be there in March coming up, but he will be in October, and I will have some of Chris's gear there. So come by the booth if you're looking for myself or Chris. I haven't seen it printed. I got to see the official map, but word on the street is that I am at booth number 15 at Tinley in March. Booth 15 is where I will be. I think if you go as far back into the darkest corner of the room as possible, that's where you'll find me. I'll be booth 15 all the way back there. Come hang out, come see me. I am vending at Tinley in March. I will be there. So cheers, everybody. Thank you to the sponsors. Thank you to the audience. Otherwise, it's just me yapping out into the internet. And also, I'm chatting tonight with Ash and Joe from Fear to Fascination, and also Sin City Feeder Breeder. That's their rodent brand as well out there in Las Vegas. Here we are. You were in the car. Bam. Now you're in the snake room. I look up and there it is.
Ta-da.
Ta-da. So, oh, go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just saying it took us a second to get set all up, but we're here.
No, it's good. I never know. Like, I try and I want to do right for the sponsors, but I also know everybody hates commercials. So I try and get my rhythm down, and go. But I wasn't sure where we were at because I try and engage the camera as well. I was trying to sneak down and look, but anyway, one day I'll have a producer that'll just give me cues and be like, Adam, camera B. Okay.
I love it. I love it.
So tell me about the rodent business. What are you seeing in it? Where are you at in developing that side of the business for you? And what was the, I don't know if inspiration's the right word, but what was the genesis for causing that?
So I'll start it and hand this one to her, because when I conquered my fear of snakes, we had just started dating for a couple months?
Maybe,
like
yeah.
And here I am. I'm literally the kind of guy that I joked around. And I said, if I meet a girl and she's like, I have a snake, I'm like, oh, you're crazy,
yeah,
seances at night and stuff, no. And so I had literally a dog, just, my dog was my best friend, 16 years, my best bud. He passed away. There's no replacing him, And it was to the point, a couple of years went by with no dog, and I start getting into snakes, and my friends are like, you all right, bud? What's going on, man? Everything okay? These snakes coming in, you need a dog or something? But no, so getting off the topic, back on it, we start breeding these snakes. We get up to 40, 50. I'm going to the local pet shop buying 40, 50 at over-the-counter price there.
Right.
$5, $4 for a small or a medium or something. And so, and this was back years ago when they were supposed to be cheaper, but you get them much cheaper if you were to get from someone who's actually breeding them. And one of the days we went in, they said, hey man, I'm sorry, we can't sell them to you today, man. You're the homie, we can't sell them to you. And what do you mean? I see the rats right there. And they go, oh, well, we forgot to get food for them this week. So, they're not looking too good. And I'm like, what do you mean you forgot to get food? You're the pet shop. You can't do that,
Right.
And especially if you're going to keep an animal in a cage, man, you have to take care of it,
Yeah, good point.
And so basically right then and there, I decided we're going to have to breed our own. It's costing me an arm and a leg. And she had an apartment. We hadn't moved in together yet. She had a garage in the apartment and didn't have a car in the in the garage. So she said, hey, if you want, you can breed the rats at my place. I'm like, for real? Really?
Yeah.
So that's where it started. And I do, before I hand it to her, I have to, every time I tell this story to snake breeders at shows, they're like, and you didn't marry her right there?
Right.
But yeah, so yeah, it started at your place.
Yeah, it started in the garage apartment, or the apartment garage, with 3 racks that we built, and just started going from there to the backyard. When I moved in, we were doing it in the Vegas heat in the backyard, which
I was going to say, what did you have to do any retrofitting to the garage, or do they handle the heat? What happened?
Yeah,
what did you have to do?
Yeah, we insulated the garage. We put an AC. Yeah, put an AC unit in there. Did pretty good. We have always been on top of the husbandry. So it was every 3 days, in there doing spot cleans, and every 5 days cleans. And we still have that routine now. But
not spot cleaning every 3 days.
Yeah, we don't spot clean, but we do full cleans religiously. But yeah, it started in the garage. I moved in. We moved everything into the backyard, which was a wild journey. I don't encourage anyone to breed rats in the backyard in Vegas.
Yeah.
It works good for the winter and springtime, but of course, when it gets to summer, it's not even a possibility. It's just way too hot here. So we learned quickly we had to move that.
Yeah.
Were you attracting any wildlife there from the desert and with the rats in the backyard, or not?
pretty much like feral cats. That's about it. But
oh yeah, okay.
yeah. There's some feral cats in the neighborhood, and we do have coyotes right here. Where there's a nature preserve right next to our house with coyotes. You hear them howling out there at night all the time, and but so it gets started there at her place. Move it over to my place as we move in together. And I think it was still at the apartment complex that you were tossing the idea around of Sin City feeder breeder.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
I think.
So it wasn't even a business yet at all.
It was just a thought.
And she's like, this is Sin City feeder breeder. This is my little operation. I'm like, oh, okay. I see you over there.
Yeah.
Native, Sin City. I was like, all right.
And it was a great name. I'm like, that's awesome. So we've taken and used like a little rack that's gambling. He's at a roulette table. And like, we're going to do
nice.
Cool little merch and stuff that we want to do in the future around that with little mice that I've got some very talented friends that are artists that can bring all kinds of stuff to life. So, we're going to have fun with it. And so fast forward, we ended up bringing it into a warehouse. We went 3 to 4 times that size. A friend offered up some space in a warehouse that he had. And that was heaven sent for quite some time. We had them there for a couple of years, built it up to where we could finally feed the 400 plus snakes that we keep. And it just got to the point where we really needed to expand. And he was moving out of that facility and didn't have space at the new place he was going.
And things lined up just perfectly.
Yeah, it was heaven sent. It just, we found a facility, 1,000 square foot. We said, if we get this place, then it's actually going to be a business now. And so we've got a pretty high overhead. And the first couple of months were just balls to the wall, to make it happen, using our own income to supplement, obviously.
Right.
We were building just enough inventory to sell. And now we're locking in, pet shops and regular customers and we're right at that like turning point.
There you go.
So it's so cool. Yeah.
Nice. And what species are you breeding?
As far as reptiles or
rodents?
Rodents, just what are they? The Norwegian, just like the basic rat.
I thought I lost you. Okay, you're back there.
No. Yeah, like I think it's a Norwegian rat or something. It's just
gotcha.
Like,
yeah.
And
we'll start.
We're gonna be doing mice soon. I want to do dubias. Kind of cover all the feeders.
Oh, gotcha. Are you able to? Are you allowed to have ASFs there in Nevada or not?
You're not allowed to have them here. There are some people that breed them here. They call them field mice instead of ASFs. And, I remember at first that people were real hush about it, but I hear, people have them here for sure.
I gotcha. Well, I won't ask if you're breeding those then, but but Norwegians primarily.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, we got those down pat. We bred mice here at the house for a while, but
they're vicious.
They are vicious. Yeah.
They stink. They stink even more than rats, man.
Yeah, they do.
God, they're bad, man. Oh, they're bad.
Yeah, so we're not looking forward to it, but the pet shops are telling us, hey, we really need mice, and we want to keep everybody happy. So it's good. Yeah, might as well.
Do you find, what's the best way to put this? What's your perfect customer? Would you rather have 3 massive pet shop companies or 30 people ordering 30 to 50 a week? What's best for you guys? I mean, you got wholesale versus retail and a lot of other things that go in there.
Sure. The latter for sure. And there's a couple reasons why the latter. For us, for me and Ash as well, is loyalty is important, and camaraderie within the community is important, and everything we hear with the pet shops, unfortunately, is it's kind of a paper chase. So it's who can do it cheaper, and then they'll switch to somebody else. And
that's right.
Any of the businesses that I spoke to prior to decide whether we were going into it or not, they all just basically said how there's no loyalty in it. And it's very cutthroat. And for us, even from the beginning, the idea of breeding enough to supply the public was for our customers, for people who are local breeders mainly, who kept like 20 plus snakes at least. Ideally more, but 20 plus snakes, and they didn't want to pay that high fee that we did. Again,
and the quality, that was mainly it. Was we would rather the latter because we know that we're going to give them the quality, and we had that experience of like malnourished rodents, and it's like why
malnourished? You buy the rat as a wean and it's a pup. You buy a small and it's a wean. You buy a medium and it's a a small.
Like, we weigh out every single one of
some of them will come covered in pee and they smell
terrible.
And the worst was especially from the pet shops we were getting them. And you imagine by pet shop, they're just handed down. The breeders packed them up now. They've had to take them out of the box, put them there. So people are tossing them. Some people are not friendly with the rats. They are tossing them. So we would put them in an enclosure and they'd rush the snake. And then your snake doesn't eat for, you know, a few weeks or something because it got freaked out by a rat.
Oh, yeah. But
so
yeah,
our rats are friendly. You'd pull it right out. It's not going to, you know, bite you or anything. And we pride ourselves in just providing the highest quality possible, you know.
Very nice. I can hear the passion in your voice, and you're exactly right. I mean, that's a lot of thought that's gone into that. And I'm, as new as I am to ball pythons, I'm very new to rodents. I am horribly allergic to the things. Yeah, even when I feed frozen thawed, like I don't have to wear a mask feeding frozen thawed or anything, but I could feel the histamines going. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the market forces you're talking about, a lot of the things that you're talking about as far as expense goes when you get to a certain size. And I'm thankful Cold Blooded Cafe is a sponsor on one of my Instagram pages and on my morning show. So, you know, I have an avenue to frozen thawed rodents. But I found that I like starting my hatchlings on ASFs. I found, and for the record, my experience, I think that the narrative that they'll get hooked on ASFs is nonsense. I tell people, I'm like, I start all my hatchlings on ASFs, and nearly all of my adults eat frozen thawed rats. And the ones that don't, they will, but if it's breeding season and they want an ASF, I'm going to give them I'm not going to lose the battle, or I'm not going to win the battle to lose out on a breeding season clutch, you know? So, no, when I moved here to Minnesota, an opportunity presented itself to invest with somebody on a rodent operation. And I was like, I'm still paying a lot out of pocket. That'd be real nice to get out of that. And then I like figuring out business. I like all the things you're talking about of, again, it comes down to building a community, showing care, loyalty to a group of people that can rely on you and you can be reliable to them. And all that was really appetizing to me. And then I went to go see the local pet store. I was like, what are you guys charging for an ASF? With a straight face, they told me it was $10. Yeah. Can you imagine? And I was like, oh, I don't know what the market should be, but I know there's space between what it costs and $10, and I'll figure it out in the middle. And so the investment partnership, that didn't work out, and that's fine. So I divested from that, took my equipment, and I talked to my wife. I was like, I know the theory of the sunk cost, and I don't want to get lost in what I've already spent. On the other hand, I've already spent it. I've got the knowledge. I've got the equipment. And I was like, I'm going to take 90 days and see if I can figure out how to make this work. And so converted a shed, insulated it, heated it, got a couple racks in there, and
nice.
I love it. I mean, I have to wear a mask when I'm in there, and you know, wash.
Well, don't you worry, Adam. We're working on some hypoallergenic rats for you. We cooking something up. I'm just kidding.
I mean, hey, if they come around, great. But man, they are. It is on the days when I have to do the total changes. It is. Thank God the shed's right next to the garage. I go right into the garage. I strip all the way down, straight up to the shower, and straight to the Benadryl, you know, and that's after wearing a mask in there. Wow. But no, I'm loving it. You know what? It's really fun though, man. I've really enjoyed it. I like the rodents. I can't believe I'm saying it, but I like the new, like, ball pythons go in kind of waves. Like there's a show, you get clutches, you got to wait a year for the next clutch. ASFs are, I mean, you can put, or rodents. Yeah. You can pull them every day, you know, and reaching a new audience. And then there's overlap. Oh, you need 50 rodents. What are you breeding? Oh, ball pythons. Oh, here, let me drop you a little inventory list with the rodent delivery this week. You know, I love it, man. It's a blast so far. I love figuring all that stuff out.
Man, that's awesome. Yeah. I do love that we got the internet and we can just talk. Cause man, I wish we were closer, man. No doubt. You've got good vibes, Adam. I love it. We knew right at the show you were good people, and I was so stoked that you got in. It was not only your first show, but you were outside in the was it the hallway?
Yeah,
great spot because people have to walk that way to get to the bar. But then day 2, you were inside, man. That was so cool.
Man, you said earlier, sometimes you just got to do the work and try and, you just show up and do the work. That was the most like perfect example of it. Robin was like, well, I can get you a table, Robin from REDLINE. I can get you a table, but you're going to be in the lobby. I'm like, I don't care if I'm in the parking lot, man. Just get me in the game. I'll figure it out. And like you say, in the lobby, you would see everybody, but nobody would commit to buying, as they shouldn't, because they're like, well, we haven't even seen the show inside. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but I got it here,
I know.
But then they said, and it was somebody else's bad fortune, unfortunately. And they were, I think it's well known, so I'm not spilling any beans, but BioDude had an issue with the shipping company, the pallet trucking freight company. Their stuff didn't arrive, and they were like, we're out of here. And Robin was like, you guys, like you said, it was the front thing. We had a 4-table end cap at Tinley with my little 2-foot wide banner.
No, that was awesome, man. What a way to go into your first Tinley. And that's we're obviously in Las Vegas. So when we vend that, it's just a bucket list type thing for me. One day we want to get on it, which is funny because Brian Porter is awesome. And every time we go, he remembers us. He remembers her dad. He's full on legit Jamaican with the head wraps.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Tinley, they're like, hey, where's Pops at? Where's Dad?
Nice.
And so, but I go up to Brian and I'm like, hey, we're interested in vending one of these days, just for the, we got to put it on the bucket list. And he's like, oh, yeah? He's like, what are you guys vending? And we're like, ball pythons. He goes, fuck no. And it was just like, oh, excuse my language. He just said, well, that's Brian Porter. Anybody knows there's no editing him. Excuse me, though. But
if you can, I will tell you the secret sauce, and I'm so grateful, is Chris at B and S Reptilia and all of his species. We were able to list about 15 species, and then at the very bottom, I did put it on there. I wrote ball pythons at the very bottom of the list.
I love it.
But I think that was the difference maker right there.
Dave Kaufman has been good to us. We won the Rattle-On Award at the Vegas show that came for Best New Breeder, which was super awesome. And when we saw him at the show and we told him, he's like, you get a hold of me, we'll figure something out. We'll get you in here, even if you got to get up, because he always has a booth space there.
Right.
So one day we'll do it. But right now, we're just focused on the areas that make the most sense for us. So.
Yeah, the logistics of I want to get out to Pomona, and even Troy just popped in. Troy's got a show coming up in Denver. Yeah, man. And Troy is awesome. He's been awesome to me here. Getting out to Denver even to vend, and the logistics are tough, man. It's really hard, and it starts getting, not everything has to be nickels and dimes and pennies, but man, sometimes, you're paying $400 or $500 a table at the NARBC shows, and then you got to get a hotel. It's 2-3 days away from not 3-4 days away from home animals and home life. And suddenly you start going, this is a hell of a lot of money, So I'm fortunate around here. Tinley's the farthest that I'll vend. And that's about that's 6-7 hours for me. There's only one other show that I do that requires a hotel. All the rest are in and back out. And back home in the same day. So financially, that makes it a whole lot more feasible. And then keeping up my rhythm of, cleaning days, feeding days, all of that kind of thing. Don't get screwed up either,
You're doing one-day shows?
Yeah. So, okay. That's what I said when I got here too. I'd never in my life heard of a one-day show. I'd never vended a one-day show. All of them here in the Midwest, except for, Tinley is my only 2-day show all year on 2 of them. That's it.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because that does make it easy where you can just turn right back around, You don't have to.
Yeah. At first I was like, how am I going to get excited for doing all the work to set up? I got to drive all the same distance. But you know what, man? People get the one I vended Sunday when I was running a little behind on getting the show together, when I was telling y'all, that is a 4-hour show. 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Boom, 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 in and out. And I drive round trip 7 hours through that show. It's worthwhile for me to go there for 4 hours and bang that show out. It's a little bit, it's kind of crazy. Like it gets rid of all the downtime. You're not like, well, when's the next rush coming? Oh, it's Sunday afternoon. It's dying off. There's none of that, man. It is boom, straight ahead. Now, most of them are like 10 to 4, 10 to 5, and then they'll do an hour VIP entrance at the beginning. So most of them are longer, but those Wisconsin shows, they're 4 hours. Get in, get out, get your money, get back home, man.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You know, I wish there were more shows around us, but it's, you know, like our closest show that we're going to hit is a Pomona or something for 4 hours away if we're not doing Vegas. Vegas is a tough market. A lot of people come to Vegas and don't come back because it doesn't, you know, hit the way that they would expect it to. It's definitely not an LA market, you know.
Yeah. How transient, and I don't mean transient in like the derogatory way people talk about a transient population. How like Ash, I know you said you were native of Vegas, but are there a lot of people that are from Vegas and stay there, or is it like people come chasing a dream and then in 2 years they're gone? And is it that, I guess I'm asking because how strong of a community is it? Are you able to build there among the locals?
It's very transient, in my opinion. I think there's a small portion of people who are born and raised that stay, a lot left, and then there's a lot that come chasing a dream. Because California is so close and so expensive, they come here to
good point.
Get quick money and lower living expenses. And then a lot of retirees come to Vegas as well.
Oh, yeah.
So
Snowbirds.
it's Vegas has a really small native community, and I don't even think it could be called like a community, like a local community.
Yeah, we have a community for sure.
Yeah.
I think definitely. When you're talking about like the people who were born and raised, yeah, there's not as many of them, but we do have. Vegas is a young city. We're 100 years old, you know, a little over 100. And the community took longer to build because of the fact that so many people were not actually from here. So when people come to our city, they're rooting for their city. You know, they're rooting for the different. So we're just now getting the sports teams where people can get behind the city. You know, the hockey team really brought a lot of camaraderie to the, but drawing back to the, you know, the direction that we're talking about when we're talking about the reptile community, there is a nice reptile community here that's been here for much longer than us. You know, there when we go to Wild Things and we talk with Steph, we were just chatting with her and she said she's been vending shows out for 15 years, you know. And so she remembers the first shows that came to the city when they were doing it in a gymnasium. So there is a community, and it's just it's a bit of a smaller community, I'd say. We have some really top-notch breeders here as well. There's the guy Bob, starts with a W. He has all the, you know, the green Sanzinias and the red Sanzinias and a bunch of really obscure stuff that you can't find often. You know, he's just a legendary breeder. I wish I could remember his last name right now, but he was on a podcast for Trap Talk a while back. And he came to the Vegas show, and I was like, I've been waiting to meet you. You're amazing.
Yeah.
Come to my place anytime. Let's talk snakes. So they are here, you know, and I've got a friend right down the street, Joe, that has Sin City Exotics. And it's so cool in full circle because we bought rats from him. He was our first rat breeder we bought from, and now he buys rats from us. So
I know who you're talking about. I think he's a good dude. I've never met him, but I think he's a good
great
dude.
guy.
His whole family, amazing.
Yeah, I knew he'd been around a bit, and I talked to him. I got to reach back out to him. We talked a while back about trying to get him on the show and whatnot. Yeah.
Get him on. Yeah, he does. He's got some wild stories for you for sure. He's been in a lot longer. He sent me a picture, and his whole hand, he was keeping berms in retic, still does, but he had a lot of berms, and one of the berms got him, and I have never in my life seen a hand like just shredded. He lost a bunch of feeling in it, and but he's big on the turtles. He's got all those radiated and crazy, I might be saying it wrong, but tons of amazing tortoises and turtles, and he just gave me a couple of really cool tri-stripe jungles that popped out of two normal tri-stripes, you know, that popped a jungle out. So little project that we're playing with.
I guess I kind of was thinking, I was like, where was I going with the question about are people there transit? Because to have a good reptile setup, if you're short-term leasing, or hopping apartments every 9 months or 12 months, you're probably not taking reptiles with you or 20 or 30 snakes with you kind of deals, I guess is really what I was getting at. And it reminds me of Orlando, like such a hospitality driven city.
Yes.
Nobody's from there. Nobody's putting down roots there. They're making their money. They're building their career. They're getting the Disney on the resume. And then they're getting poached and plucked by other corporations across the country kind of thing. And I guess that's what I was equating to in my mind on that.
So it's kind of a bummer because, I'm sure you're familiar, Dave Levinson. He does a ton of the shows. He's a big old beard. He's a wild character.
Okay.
Fanny pack and multicolored clothing.
Oh, I know exactly who. Yes.
Bingo.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Dave's a road warrior. He does so many shows.
Yeah.
And oh, dang it! Did I just lose my train of thought? Where was I going with this? He came. He was chatting with me, and he's like, "There's no breeders in Vegas, bud. There's no breeders in Vegas." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, every time I come, I'll hit people up, and I ask if there's any breeders here to go herping." And he's like, "Nope, no breeders here." And I'm like, "Hey, that's BS, man. There are breeders here."
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a bummer. The city is just taking it. Like I say, it's a smaller city than people expect. People come here for the party, and then they leave.
Right.
It's transient. So there is a community, and there are a lot of great breeders here. Las Vegas ball pythons. I don't even want to begin to name people because I feel bad. Jab Reptiles. So many people in our city that are building a name for themselves. And so to hear him say that, and he's a buddy of mine, I'm like, man, don't say that. We're here.
Right.
Fascination is here, baby.
That's right. Yeah, I'll make it then. Yeah, you don't think it's here? You just wait. Yeah, watch me. Yep.
So I do think that we have a community, but we're still new. We're still growing, and more reptile shows is always better, obviously.
Yeah, Troy brought up another good point in the chat about the 2-day shows that I talk about missing a whole lot. The one thing that I don't like about the 1-day shows is that you don't get the breeder dinners and evenings and hang out. If you got 3.5 hours to get home, you're packing up and you're hitting the road. And some people can, but most people aren't going to hang out, have 2 drinks with the snakes in the car, and then go drive for a couple hours. And I just made it. Well, I say I made it through. I feel like I'm done with the winter here, but it's only February 27th in Minnesota. I'm sure I got more winter coming, but I literally can't leave the animals. I can't leave them. Like I got to have them in the heated car. And so I'm not going to leave the car running while I'm inside drinking or not drinking, just having dinner, hanging out, so you just got to kind of go. So I miss that a lot because good deals happen, good relationships happen. And I don't mean like deals like sales. I mean like good deals, like long-term relationships, breeding plans. Hey, get my name on that animal. Yeah. Future plan, like good business happens at those dinners. So, or hangouts or bars or just even auctions after the show. I mean, those are a blast too. We don't have any of those here.
The auctions are the best.
Any new breeders listening, that's a serious gym. We don't go to Tinley for no reason at all, and we're not selling animals there. It's all about that. It's all about the relationship building, getting to actually see some of these genetics in person, meet the breeders that we admire. Make those friendships that, like Troy is the greatest. I mean, he's on here, but there is no better energy than Troy. From the beginning, he just brought us in like family right away. And he makes you hear countless people talk about that from him. He has that kind of energy that he brings to the show. And so it's like, you don't get, that's what it's about for me. And it's like, the snake has a price tag, especially online. But we all know as breeders, there's a little bit of move space there. And especially, as you build those relationships, you want to help people out. So Troy's a great example. He sees how dedicated I am to the tri-stripe, and he's helped us out and gave us extremely awesome deals on tri-stripes that had we not built those relationships, we'd have never had the opportunity to do that. So even if you're not vending, go to the shows. Hang out after if you can. Obviously in your situation with the 1-day shows, you got to go, and that's but then it has its
it's like
the
pros and cons. 1-day shows, I feel like people come with the intention to buy.
That's right.
Time to think, but then you don't get the moment of camaraderie and just hanging out with your friends afterwards.
Yeah. And I should say too, the education, like when I first started, and I'm happy to shout these guys out, but like Jeremy Bod, Dale Richards, Steve Casino,
Nice.
for whatever reason, those guys took me under their wing and were like, "Hey, here's where we're going eating tonight." And I'm like, "Oh, I get chills talking." I'm like, "Oh, okay. All right. Is that okay if I come?" And they're like, "Yeah, you need to be here, man." And I'm like, "Okay." And just shutting up and listening at those tables is phenomenal too. I mean, there's just so much that you can gain from just surrounding yourself from the people that you respect and look up to. And so like, it's a cool thing, but it's an incredibly valuable thing too. So I miss some of that here, but fortunately I had that experience in Florida. So when I got here to Minnesota, just in September, I was like, all right, I got to seek out some people. I got to make some relationships. I started buying rodents from people I really respected. I bought some snakes. Troy was kind enough to invite me to a dinner that he went out of his way to organize in town, and just things like that, where I'm like, thank God I learned all those things in Florida. And that's how I was able to just get established here so quick. You know, I miss those things is what I'm saying. So I'm really looking forward to Tinley. A lot of those guys will be at Tinley and I'll get to see them again. So are you all going in March?
No, we're jealous. We don't do the March one. We only do the October one. But
there's time. I mean, you could decide, you know.
We got too much stuff going on.
I hear you, man.
Work, but you know, you've got talk about the show. You know, you may not get those experiences sometimes because you're doing the 1 day turnaround. But look at what's up. That one went fast.
Whoops, that was Trevor there. Yeah.
Oh, what's up, Trevor? What's up? So, you know, you've got the show though. So you get to have these experiences and pull different breeders on and have these conversations like on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So this is, you know, it's priceless. And so, yeah, you know, as much as I like to be quiet at those tables and sit and listen to what everyone has to say, there's also, as breeders, you know, there's a lot of things that we experience that you're not going to see online always. You know, there's stuff that people don't talk about. And so
that's
it's like,
right.
hey, you ever experienced this before? And sometimes people are like, no, I've never experienced that at all. And you're like, oh, okay, well, dang, what do I do with that? And sometimes they've got an answer. Oh, yeah, it happens all the time, this, that, and the other. You know, so.
Well, and you can, I mean, there's a lot of things that I won't repeat either, but that are, you can learn a lot about people that have been around the industry and how they've treated each other. I mean, a couple drinks start flowing and true colors start showing of, how others have treated other people, and you can learn a lot that way too. And that's pretty valuable information also.
I agree. Yeah. They could write a soap opera about the ball python community.
I can't believe they haven't, man. Like,
it's on its way. Dateline did. Yeah, you know, rest in peace with, you know, Ben. But that whole thing is just, we won't even go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. Well, and I hate to say it, any industry that's been around long enough, with enough money flowing through it, those things. I mean, they happen in restaurants, they happen in music, they happen. You know, it just sure as hell happens in the corporate world. So, you know, it happens. We're getting towards. We got another 10, 12 minutes, something like that. I try and do a hard 90 minutes with family and all of that. Most people know I don't write, you know, I don't do the 20 questions interview. You all saw my email. I'd rather it be a hangout, but I was really intrigued. Will you tell us about your music a little bit and what you got going on? And let's just start there for a minute. I'm intrigued by it. And every now and again, it gets to be my show. I get to talk about what I want to talk about. So we're going to talk about music for a minute.
Always fun to chat with a fellow musician, no doubt. There's quite a few of them in the reptile community, which is awesome. And I'm a hip hop artist, so I've been, you know, rapping since I was 10 years old. I grew up in North Las Vegas out here as like basically the only white kid going to my school. And, you know, Puerto Rican, Mexican, black kids, all my best friends growing up. And so there were always little ciphers where people were rhyming, and I grew up loving hip hop. And so I quickly picked up the craft as a freestyle, you know, artist. And that developed into people telling me around me, man, you got to take this serious. This is, you know, you're getting really good at this. And I didn't take myself serious. And finally, one day I did and turned it into a career. And so I've been blessed to perform in every major city in the entire country, pretty much. Been in every state and performed in Costa Rica, Yeah, just constantly plugging away at it, having fun. It's something that I've taken a break from for a couple of years, but I was always still writing. I just wasn't putting out as much content or music. I've got 7 albums out, and right now I'm on this weekly release. So every week I'm releasing a new song. So
52 weeks? How long are you going to keep that up for?
This whole year. So I'm going to do 52 releases this year. And
52
then,
tracks.
Yeah, 52
tracks. A lot goes into that, man. Holy cow.
A lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of money. You know, but that's my passion. That's what I love the most. And it's a singles game right now where people don't respect the albums the way that they once did.
The album art form. Yeah, the album art form is, man, it's a loss. I don't know how we get it back.
If you're into any of the listeners that are into hip hop, if you're into like a J. Cole, my music is right up that lane, little Wiz Khalifa-esque somewhat. And yeah, you know, I grew up on like Busta Rhymes, Nas. So I'm a lyricist. I love to put, you know, potent message into the music. Even if it's a party song and it's about, you know, having a good time, you're going to learn something or it's going to uplift you in some way. So I'm all about that.
Josh asks at Sundog Serpents, how do we find your music? What's the is there a band, a stage name, so an alter ego?
Yeah, iTunes or Spotify or anywhere you go it's Hydro. It's HIGHDRO. Hydro.
Got it.
So yeah, I'm on every platform. Some of these weekly releases we've been dropping on SoundCloud because some of them are, you can go on SoundCloud and you can actually interact. Yeah, you can interact. So a fan can listen and at a certain point say, oh, I really like this part of the song. So I've been putting for the first time some not fully mastered tracks on yet that are still like, you know, majority of the mix is done. And then they can kind of come in and interact with the song. And I'm trying out something new with that with the fans. So.
Oh man, I think that's cool. I think like, man, I'm really interested in that because one of the things that I've found is sort of the unpolished gems. So showing people what I like, okay, why do you think you should have a YouTube show, Adam? What do you know? Well, I don't know anything, but I'm going to learn it and I'll share it when I'm learning it. And you can almost crowdsource knowledge along the way. Totally. And people get to feel like they're participating in the creative process. And I've never found a great way to experience that. Like that was realistic. I saw, this is getting really nerdy and deep, but maybe 20 years ago, do you remember this there was like these sample machines, like you could like record a sample and then it was like Fostex or something, you know, and then you could choose the speed it would play back. So I'm seeing a band called Better Than Ezra in like the late 90s. And they were like passing this thing through the audience, sampling different things that people were saying or any totally spontaneous. And then boom, like on stage making a track with it. And I was like,
yeah,
sometimes that's going to work. Sometimes that's going to fail and blow up in your face. But the creative juice behind that to crowdsource and interact, like that's its own version of building a community. And with 10,000 people, that's hard to do in one audience. You know, I thought it was cool. Sorry, I saw you about to jump in, Ash.
No. I think that's amazing what they did. I love Better Than Ezra too.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. I never know who knows what. I'm like, well, all right. They're sort of a one-hit wonder, but they're a hell of a good live act of the day, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, that's the passion. My number one is the music. My number two goes right into the reptiles. And anybody that keeps reptiles knows as much as you want your number one to be number one, animals are always number one because that's a life. You have to take care of those. So a lot of my music time gets, you know, put into the reptiles, which that's a whole nother conversation we can have another time where we learned, you know, to find our balance within the business as to where I sit with it, because I love it, but we kind of went too head over heels into it where we realized, okay, this is too much work at this point. So we draw back to exactly where we want to be so that I can still do my passion. So balance is key when it comes to breeding, you know?
It is. And I feel that right now. People are like, when are you playing? Like, this is going to be my first St. Patty's Day. I haven't played in 17 years, man. 17 years. I'm not, well, and at least I'm working Tinley. At least I could be like, hey, it's Patty's Day weekend and I'm going to Tinley. That's fine. But the reality is getting situated, getting a business off the ground in a new market. And, you know, I understand I'm certain I'm at a much smaller scale than you're at music. But the reality is a solo or a duo act in a pub ain't going to pay the bills. An entry-level ball python in the middle of Wisconsin pays more than a really good gig is going to pay for me on a Friday night. So as much as I love music, and man, I miss talking about camaraderie and performing and the interaction with people, you got to get that balance first, and you got to get the other things established. So like I say, I feel that right now. Like my third and fourth quarter of this year is going to be like, all right, I'm setting aside 2 nights a week, and I'm going to go figure out how to play and get out there.
I love it. The funniest thing that you just reminded me on that I'll end it on with is, so, you know, you've got so many rappers that end up like starting a Frenchie business, or they sell pit bulls or something, and that funds their career.
Well, everybody has Frenchies, right? What is this?
It's crazy. So I'm like, what rapper you know, though, that literally we started F2F. I changed my record label that I put my music out under to F2F Exotics. Okay. So it's like literally, I'm like, oh, I'm signed by an exotic reptile breeding, you know, a company that basically, you know, funds the music. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah. And it's my company that I built to fund my music with all of it. Because as you know, putting out a song every week. So yeah, it's like the rodents feed the reptiles. Both of those work together, and they feed into the music is the main goal. And then, you know, yeah, you just live your passion every day. You do the things you love. You work hard and you're dedicated, and 7 days a week. It ain't work, baby. You know, it's what I love.
It's a lifestyle.
I was going to say, like, as long of a day and as unflattering as small town Wisconsin that I was driving to sounds, nobody called out. There was no irate customers. Nobody complained about something that they had no idea about, trying to tell me what they saw on the Food Network that they don't know anything about in the first place. None of it, man. I had a blast. I was hanging out with people I wanted to be there with, other breeders, other buyers, and I made money. I was like, this is just fine. This is A-okay. Yeah. So, hey, where can tell us where people can find you and specifically the reptile stuff? I know you just talked about the music, but where can people find your reptile?
Instagram. You can find us on TikTok. You can find us on YouTube. Fear to Fascination. It has the number 2.
Yeah. And we have a Facebook, but my whole Facebook has been hacked from my personal account all the way into my business accounts, and we've still yet been able to get it back. So our Facebook is not active.
Yeah,
but
it's down right now.
Instagram's the main place we're always at, and we're also Sin City Feeder Breeder on Instagram and
YouTube.
I don't know if we have a YouTube.
Oh no, it's TikTok and TikTok. Yeah. One of the
definitely give us a follow. We're putting a lot of content out, and yeah,
all
connect with new people.
What was I going to say? I commend you. That's the word I'm looking for. I was like, commendation. What am I going to say? A commendation. You have a LinkTree link, which is so convenient. The LinkTree link for Fear to Fascination is down in the description, everybody. So all of those places are right there. One convenient link, one click will get you to all of those places. So go support Fear to Fascination where you can. Go see them locally if you can. Go hang out if you can. If you don't want to hang out with these two folks, like, fine. Make space for the rest of us. I'll go. Yeah, I'll come hang out anytime, man. So, well, look, guys, it's been a blast hanging out tonight. I really, Keith at Creative Genetics threw $2 here. We better answer this real fast. He says, where do they hold the, tell us about this Las Vegas show. Where do they hold the Las Vegas show? How can people come see you there?
So it's going to be at the Santa Fe Station.
Santa Fe Station Casino. That's where they hold it at. It's in the ballroom area.
It's 2nd and the 3rd. So it's going to be this Saturday and Sunday. And you could get tickets at the Central Valley ReptileExpo.com. Yeah. As well as their Instagram. It'll have a link there that'll take you there. But yeah.
Nice. Santa Fe, you said Santa Fe Casino?
Yeah, Santa Fe Casino.
It's on the northwest side of town, right off the 95. Gotcha. Come see us, Creative Genetics. Come say what's up for sure. And the first 20 people to come to our booth are going to get a special gift.
Yes. So we almost forgot. First 20 people are going to get a special gift.
Gotta hook it up.
Yes.
You can't forget that. I mean, you gotta make the pitch, you know?
Yeah. I love it, man. Adam, this has been so much fun. We really appreciate the invite.
Likewise, my pleasure. Come back and do it again. There's always another Tuesday, man. There's always another Tuesday. And I'll see you then in October, if not before, somewhere out on the road, right?
Yeah, we'll see you there, and hope you have some great shows coming up too, man. Keep kicking butt.
Very cool. Thank you very, very much to both of you. It's a real pleasure. Stick around for just a second. Don't run away just yet, okay?
Cool.
Audience.
Peace, guys.
Bye.
Thank you all so much. I'll see you same place, same time next week. Check out Proper Cup of Joe, Thursday morning, 7:30 a.m. on the East Coast. I'll see you somewhere. Adios.